What if I told you that the secret to reshaping your entire reality has been sitting right inside your head this whole time? Not buried in some ancient text, not locked away in a quantum physics lab, but literally in the one thing you use every single day and completely underestimate, your imagination. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a version of you living in a completely different reality. They wake up excited. Money flows easily to them. Love surrounds them. Their health radiates vitality. Their work feels like pure joy. And here's the kicker. That version of you isn't living in some distant future. They exist right now, in this moment, vibrating at a frequency you haven't learned to access yet. But what if I told you that your imagination isn't just daydreaming? What if it's actually the most sophisticated reality hacking technology ever created? What if every time you've been told to stop fantasizing and be realistic, you've been programmed to disconnect from the very tool that could transform your entire existence? See, most people think imagination is make-believe, children's play, wishful thinking. But quantum physicists are discovering something mind-blowing. Your imagination isn't creating fictional scenarios. It's actually tuning into real possibilities that exist in what they call the quantum field. Every time you imagine yourself healthy, wealthy, in love, or free, you're not making it up. You're receiving a signal from a timeline where that version of you already exists. Your imagination is your quantum GPS system, and in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to hack your way into the reality you've been dreaming of. No more hoping, no more waiting, no more wondering if it's possible. Just a step-by-step method that merges cutting-edge science with ancient wisdom to help you collapse time and step directly into the life that's been waiting for you. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a vivid dream that felt so real you woke up confused about what was actually happening? Or imagined a scenario so clearly that your heart started racing, your palms got sweaty, and your body responded as if it were actually occurring? That's because your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. The same neurons fire, the same chemicals flood your bloodstream, the same emotional patterns get activated. So if your imagination can trigger real physiological responses in your body, why wouldn't it also influence the reality that shows up in your external world? Think about it. Every major breakthrough in human history started as someone's imagination. The airplane, the internet, space travel, electricity. Someone imagined these things before they became physical realities. They saw possibilities that didn't exist yet and held those visions with such intensity that they eventually collapsed them into form. But here's what nobody teaches you about imagination. Most people are using it backwards. They're imagining what they don't want instead of what they do want. Rehearsing worst-case scenarios, replaying painful memories, visualizing failure. And because the universe doesn't filter imagination as positive or negative, it just responds to repetition and emotional intensity, they keep creating more of what they don't want. You've been using imagination to code your reality your entire life. You just haven't been doing it consciously. Every limiting belief you have was once imagined and rehearsed until it became your truth. Every fear you carry was once visualized until it felt real. Every story about why you can't have what you want was once an imagined scenario that you replayed until it became your identity. The beautiful truth is this: if you can imagine limitation, you can imagine freedom. If you can visualize failure, you can visualize success. If you can rehearse fear, you can rehearse love. It's the same mechanism, the same technology. You're just pointing it in a different direction. Let me share something that will completely shift how you think about this. According to quantum theory, all possible versions of your life exist simultaneously as waves of potential in the quantum field. There's a version where you're wildly successful, a version where you're deeply in love, a version where you're perfectly healthy, a version where you feel completely free. These aren't future possibilities. They're present realities existing at different frequencies. What determines which version you experience? Your observation, your attention, your emotional resonance. When you imagine a specific reality with emotional intensity, you're sending out a vibrational signature that essentially tells the universe, "This is the timeline I want to collapse into my experience. Most people imagine passively. They daydream without intention. They visualize without emotion. They think about what they want while feeling the absence of it. But active imagination, imagination infused with genuine emotion, clear intention, and embodied feeling, becomes a quantum communication system. You're literally broadcasting instructions to the field of infinite possibilities. Now, I want you to understand something crucial. Your imagination doesn't work like a magic wand where you visualize once and everything changes overnight. It works like a frequency tuner. The more consistently you imagine from the emotional state of already having what you desire, the more your nervous system begins to recognize that reality is familiar. And your nervous system always seeks to create external experiences that match your internal state. This is where most people get it wrong. They imagine from a place of lacking what they want. They visualize their dream life while feeling the pain of not having it. They picture success while carrying the identity of someone who fails. This sends mixed signals to the quantum field. Part of you is saying yes, another part is screaming no, and the universe, being the perfect mirror it is, reflects back that confusion as mixed results or no results at all. The secret is to imagine from the end result, to feel the emotions you would feel if your desired reality were already true. Not the emotions of wanting it or hoping for it, but the emotions of already living it. Gratitude instead of longing, confidence instead of doubt, joy instead of frustration, peace instead of anxiety. Here's a practical example. Instead of imagining yourself trying to lose weight while feeling frustrated with your current body, imagine yourself waking up in the body you desire and feeling grateful for your health and vitality. Instead of visualizing yourself searching for love while feeling lonely, imagine yourself being held by your perfect partner and feeling the warmth of complete connection. Instead of picturing yourself working toward financial freedom while stressed about money, imagine yourself checking your abundant bank account and feeling deep appreciation for your prosperity. Can you feel the difference in those emotional states? The first examples broadcast lack and struggle. The second examples broadcast fulfillment and completion. And the quantum field responds to what you're broadcasting, not what you're hoping to broadcast someday. This is why imagination is your quantum reality hack. It allows you to experience the emotional frequency of your desired reality before it manifests physically. And when you consistently hold that frequency through daily imaginative practice, you literally reprogram your nervous system to expect and attract that reality. But let's get even more practical. Here's how you can start using imagination as a quantum technology today. First, choose one specific aspect of your life you want to transform. Don't try to imagine everything changing at once. Pick one area, relationships, health, career, finances, and focus your imaginative energy there. Next, create what I call an embodied vision. This isn't just seeing a mental movie of what you want. This is stepping into the experience so completely that your body believes it's happening now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself living that reality. But don't just watch it like a movie. Be the main character. What does your environment look like? What sounds do you hear? What scents fill the air? What textures do you feel? What tastes do you experience? How does your body feel in this new reality? What emotions are flowing through you? The more sensory details you include, the more real it becomes to your nervous system. Then comes the most important part, emotion. You must feel the feelings of already having achieved what you're imagining. Not the feelings of wanting it or working toward it, but the feelings of living it now. Let yourself feel the relief, the gratitude, the excitement, the peace, whatever emotions naturally arise when you imagine your dream as your current reality. Spend at least 10 minutes daily in this embodied imagination. Make it a sacred practice. Turn off your phone, create a quiet space. Approach it with reverence and intention. This isn't casual daydreaming. This is quantum programming. And here's something most people miss. After you finish your imaginative practice, carry that identity with you throughout your day. Ask yourself, how would the version of me who already lives this reality handle this situation? How would they walk? How would they speak? How would they make this decision? This is what I call identity bridging. You start acting as if the quantum shift has already occurred, not in a fake-it-till-you-make-it way, but in a genuine alignment with the version of yourself who already exists at that higher frequency. Now let me address the biggest block people face with this practice. They imagine their desired reality, but then immediately check to see if it's working. They look for evidence, they measure progress, they doubt when change doesn't happen fast enough. This is imagination contaminated by the old identity. True quantum imagination requires what I call faithful detachment. You imagine with complete emotional investment, then you detach from the outcome. You trust that the quantum field has received your transmission and is rearranging itself to match your frequency. You don't need to control how or when it manifests. You just need to maintain the vibration. Think of it like planting a seed. Once you plant it, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, give it sunlight, and trust the natural process. Your imagination is the seed, your emotion is the water, your faith is the sunlight, and your consistent practice is the soil. Another crucial element is what I call imagination integrity. This means your imagined reality must feel authentic to your soul, not just appealing to your ego. If you're imagining wealth just to prove your worth, or love just to fill emptiness, or success just to gain approval, your imagination from ego rather than essence. An ego-based imagination often creates resistance because deep down, you don't believe you deserve what you're visualizing. But when you imagine from your authentic essence, visualizing the freedom to contribute your gifts, the love to share your heart fully, the abundance to live generously, the health to serve joyfully, your imagination aligns with your soul's purpose. And soul-aligned imagination has exponentially more power to manifest because it's supported by the deepest truth of who you are. Here's something that might surprise you. The most powerful imagination isn't always about adding things to your life. Sometimes it's about subtracting what doesn't belong. Imagine yourself free from the limiting beliefs that have held you back. Visualize yourself releasing the fear that has kept you small. Feel yourself letting go of the need to prove yourself or earn love or struggle for success. Imagine the version of you who remembers their inherent worth, who trusts their inner wisdom, who operates from abundance instead of scarcity, who loves themselves unconditionally, who knows they belong here and have something valuable to offer. This identity-level imagination often creates the most profound shifts because it addresses the root programming that shapes all your experiences. Now, I want to share something that can accelerate your imagination practice exponentially. Most people imagine alone, in isolation, carrying the burden of manifesting by themselves. But imagination becomes more powerful when you connect it to something greater than your individual desires. Imagine your transformed life, not just for your own benefit, but for how it allows you to serve others more fully. Visualize your abundance enabling you to be more generous. See your love inspiring others to open their hearts. Feel your health giving you the energy to contribute your gifts. Connect your personal transformation to your ability to lift others up. This isn't about being selfless or denying your own desires. It's about recognizing that your highest individual fulfillment and your greatest service to others are the same thing. When you imagine from this expanded perspective, you align with universal intelligence rather than just personal will. And universal intelligence has infinite resources to support manifestations that serve the whole. Let me also address something that stops many people from taking imagination seriously. They've been conditioned to believe that imagination is unrealistic, impractical, or even spiritually bypassing. They think focusing on desired realities means avoiding current challenges or living in denial about what needs to be addressed. But true quantum imagination doesn't ignore present reality, it transcends it. There's a difference between denial and transformation. Denial pretends problems don't exist. Transformation acknowledges current challenges while refusing to accept them as permanent. Imagination gives you the ability to hold a vision of what's possible while taking inspired action to bridge the gap between where you are and where you're going. In fact, imagination often reveals the next steps you need to take. When you deeply imagine your desired reality, solutions and opportunities that weren't visible from your old perspective suddenly become clear. You start noticing synchronicities, meeting helpful people, receiving unexpected insights, and finding doors that seemed closed before beginning to open. This is because imagination doesn't just change your internal state, it also changes your external perception. You literally start seeing the world differently. Possibilities you were blind to before become obvious. Resources you didn't know existed reveal themselves. Paths that seemed blocked suddenly open up. Here's another advanced technique that can supercharge your practice. Instead of just imagining your ideal future, imagine your future self coming back to visit your present self. What would they tell you? What wisdom would they share? What reassurance would they offer? What guidance would they provide? This creates a temporal bridge in your consciousness. You're not just reaching forward to a future possibility. You're allowing that possibility to reach back and support you now. It's a beautiful paradox. The future you're creating is simultaneously creating you. Many of my clients report profound shifts when they start having these imaginary conversations with their future selves. They receive clarity about decisions they need to make, courage to take risks they've been avoiding, and comfort during challenging times. It's as if they're accessing the wisdom of who they're becoming to guide who they're being now. This brings me to one of the most important points about imagination as a quantum tool. It's not just about manifesting external things, cars, houses, relationships, money. Those might come, and that's wonderful. But the real magic is how imagination transforms your identity, how it rewires your nervous system, how it expands your sense of what's possible, how it reconnects you to your power as a conscious creator. When you consistently practice embodied imagination, you start to feel different in your own skin. You walk with more confidence, you speak with more authority, you make decisions from clarity instead of confusion, you respond to challenges from strength instead of fear. You show up in the world as the person you've been imagining yourself to be. And here's the beautiful truth. When you change how you show up, the world responds differently to you. Opportunities appear that match your new energy. People treat you with the respect you've learned to have for yourself. Circumstances align with your elevated expectations, not because you forced anything, but because you became a vibrational match for a different level of experience. This is why imagination is ultimately about remembering rather than acquiring. You're not trying to become someone you're not. You're remembering who you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning, limitation, and fear. You're using imagination to reconnect with the infinite being you were before the world taught you to think small. Every human being has access to this technology. Your imagination is not broken, it's not weak, it's not unreliable. It's actually one of the most sophisticated reality-shaping tools ever created. You just haven't been taught how to use it consciously. But now you know. Now you understand that every time you imagine, you're sending quantum instructions to the universe. Every emotional visualization is a vibrational vote for what you want to experience. Every moment of embodied dreaming is an act of reality creation. The question isn't whether imagination works. The question is, what are you going to imagine? Because whether you realize it or not, you're imagining constantly. You're either imagining from fear or from love, from lack or from abundance, from limitation or from possibility, from who you've been told you are or from who you truly are. You have the power to choose. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to start using your imagination as the quantum reality hack it was designed to be. You can begin imagining the version of yourself that's been waiting for you to remember they exist. You can start embodying the frequency of the life that's been calling your name. Your imagination is not separate from you. It is you. It's your consciousness exploring infinite possibilities and choosing which one to collapse into form. It's your soul communicating with the universe about what you're ready to experience. It's your divine nature expressing itself through the most human of faculties. So tonight, when you close your eyes, don't just go to sleep. Go to creation school. Spend time with the version of you who already lives your dreams. Feel their joy, share their gratitude, experience their freedom. Let their reality become so familiar that it starts feeling like a memory instead of a fantasy. And tomorrow, wake up as them. Move through your day as them. Make choices as them. Love as them, work as them, rest as them, not pretending but remembering, not faking but aligning, not forcing but flowing. Because the truth is, that version of you isn't separate from who you are now. They're who you become when you stop imagining limitation and start imagining possibility. They're who you are when you remember that your imagination is your quantum reality hack and you finally decide to use it the way it was meant to be used. The future you've been dreaming of has been dreaming of you too. It's time to meet in the middle, in that magical space where imagination becomes reality and reality becomes limitless. Your quantum shift starts now.